Hi y'all. Today we're making one of my very favorite summer salads, a Panzanella salad, or called a Tuscan Bread Salad. Now you might think bread salad, but y'all, I'm telling you, this thing is delicious. And it has so many possibilities and so many variables that you can do, so you can really make it to suit your taste. But there are a couple of things you need to do ahead of time before you actually start composing the salad. The first thing you need to do is to make some croutons. You might be tempted to use those that come in the grocery store, that, you know, little sacks that are already pre-made. I would encourage you not to do that. I would encourage you to use up some old baguettes you might have in your freezer. If you've got some leftover garlic bread or even some thick sliced bread, use that. You're going to take that bread and you're going to cut it into cubes about this size, which was probably about ½ inch cube. And then you're going to let it dry out. You can either let it sit out on the cabinet and dry out. I put mine usually in the oven in about 200 degrees and just let it stay there for a while until it's good and dry. And they're going to be good and crispy. Now on this bread, before I cut it up and put it into the oven to dry, I brushed it with that garlic-infused olive oil that we made. And I hope you've had a chance to make that by now. If you don't have that, you will want to take garlic clove, and you want to smash that garlic clove like I showed you the other day. Excuse me. You want to take that garlic clove, and you're going to cut off the end of it, that root end, smash it, and then rub your bread with it, either before you cut it up. It'd be easier. So that's another way you can do it. But I highly encourage you to make that garlic infused olive oil to have on hand, because I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyway, so our croutons have been made. I actually made these up yesterday, and that's fine. You can make them up ahead of time and put them in a baggie, put them in your freezer, put them in your cabinet till you get ready for them, a couple of days or whatever. But anyway, those need to be done ahead of time, okay? So once you've done that, we're going to make the dressing that goes on the salad. And this is a type of vinaigrette. We're going to start with one of those garlic cloves, cutting off that root end like I showed you before. Let me move that out of the way. Okay. And if you recall, this is where we take out our frustrations. We're going to smash it so that the peeling comes right off. And already part of our chopping is done. This salad starts with 1 teaspoon of garlic, and that's probably about 1 large clove. If you like more garlic, add more garlic. We're cooking for you, not for some recipe developer. All right, so we've got that all chopped up. Pretty finely minced, actually. And I have a little jar that I'm going to use. That's going to be my salad dressing jar. I'm going to put this garlic in there. Okay. The next thing I'm going to add is a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Now, you could use a coarse mustard if you prefer. I just happen to like the flavor and the mildness of the Dijon. And you can measure this if you want. I'm just going to eyeball it. Don't we as cooks do that a lot? All right, that's a good teaspoonful right there. Then I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of vinegar. Now today I'm using some homemade basil vinegar that I made. It's vinegar that's been infused with that basil from the garden. You could use white wine vinegar or white balsamic vinegar if you want. I would not use the red vinegar, the red balsamic, I don't think. I just don't like the way it discolors things. Certainly a great taste, but I just don't like the way it looks. And like I've said before and before and before, we eat with our eyes first. All right, so 3 tablespoons of vinegar. And this was made with white vinegar, by the way. If all you have on hand is apple cider vinegar, use it. It's fine. All right, so 3 tablespoons. And 3 tablespoons is almost 1/4 cup. And after that, we're going to add in our ½ cup of extra virgin olive oil. And this is when we use that EVOO, because it is lighter. It's going to give a lighter taste to our salad dressing. Okay, Then a half teaspoon of salt, and here again, you know, I'm just going to eyeball it. And then a half teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. Okay, so we've got that in there. And I'm just going to give it a good shake. And you're going to want to shake it up really, really well too before you dress your salad. One thing about this salad that's so nice is that you can do a lot of the prepping ahead of time, and then the assembly comes a little bit later on. So after you've got your dressing made and your croutons made, you're going to set those aside, and then you're going to start getting out your ingredients. So let's talk about some of the things that can go in there. First of all, you want bell peppers, probably 2, and I like to use a variety of colors there. You want cucumbers, and I like to use the little mini cucumbers. If you've got cucumbers growing in your garden, use those up. We're going to have tomatoes, okay? We're going to have lots of basil in it in just a little while. I'm going to add in a zucchini and squash and a yellow squash today for the colors. This salad, like I said, can have other ingredients added to it. If you want capers or other things in anchovies, even if you like anchovies. And so on the post on my blog, diningwithdebbie.net, under Panzanella Salad or Tuscan Bread Salad, you'll see a lot of options for you to put into this salad. The main thing is make it to suit your taste, because you want to really enjoy this salad. So we're going to start prepping some of our ingredients for this, and then I'll come back to you in just a little bit and have some of those done, show you how to do some of them as well. Okay, so now we're ready to prep our ingredients. I'm going to start with this zucchini. I'm going to use all of it. I like to cut off the ends, and then I slice it in half and lay each one of those flat for safety measures. It's easier to do. And then I cut those in half again. And then I slice them in probably about 1/4-inch slices. You can cut them smaller if you want. That's up to you. This is your salad, by the way. In fact, I'll show you what that looks like when you do that. Take those and you're going to cut them in half again. I hope you're using sharp knives. Okay, so slice those up, and you're going to do this ahead of time, which makes it a really nice thing to do in the summertime. You have that all done. And there's no cooking involved either. And this is really a meal by the time you get through with it. You've got lots of vegetables in here. You've got a little bit of bread. And that was 6 cups of croutons, by the way. I'm not sure I mentioned that earlier. All right, so we've got our zucchini in there. And now we're going to do this yellow squash. Some of you may have a garden that's overflowing with squash and zucchini right now. This is a great way to use it up. We're going to do the same thing with the squash that we did with the zucchini. We're going to cut it in strips, and then we're going to slice it again. This will be our lunch today. We like to eat basically one meal a day. We found that works really well for us. In the evenings, we might, I don't know, have some crackers and cheese or something like that, but really no big meal. We started doing that months ago and found that that works really, really well for us in our schedule. Gary's court, I never know for sure when he's going to get out of court each day, so it works really nicely. Usually at lunch, I can always guarantee he's going to be home around sometime during the lunch hour. All right, so we've got our yellow squash and our zucchini in here. The next thing we're going to do is add our cucumbers. I didn't raise any cucumbers other than little cucamelons. Have you seen those cucamelons? They look like little tiny watermelons. I just pulled up the vine the other day. They were so cute. I like to grow something different every year so that, I can show it to the grandchildren. They're just for fun. These are those little cucumbers that you buy in a bag at the grocery store. I think I got these at Trader Joe's. Anyway, you can find them almost anywhere. But I like the texture of them. I like the flavor of them. And so I think I may just start with 2 and we'll see. I'm going to do the same thing with it that I did with the zucchini and the yellow squash. It's kind of redundant to say zucchini and yellow squash. They're both squashes. How's your garden? Do you have one? Even if it's in a pot on your patio, that's a garden. Yeah. That's probably about all. Those were pretty good size. If you want more, add more. Again, you're making this to suit yourself. And as a meal, you know, you want a pretty good hefty portion. All right, next thing we're going to do is add in 1/2 of a red onion. Now, everybody has their own way of peeling and slicing an onion. I just do it the best way I can. I'm going to start here by slicing this way. And then I'll do it horizontally. Keep those knuckles out of the way of the knife. Keep your fingers out of the way of the knife. They say make a claw. You know, sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Then I'm going to slice down. Okay, get that out of the way. We'll do the same thing on this side. I've never seen so much fuss about the technique on slicing an onion. You know, some people get hostile about it. It's really ridiculous. Just cut it the best way you can. And you want to use the red onion because of the difference in flavor that it has, and because of the color that it adds. Some of those pieces didn't get cut up very nicely, so I'll just chop those up. Finish this up right here. They would kick me out of culinary school if they saw me doing this, wouldn't they? You know, we have a culinary school fairly close to us, and I know some of those students had to finish up online this year. Gosh, that must have been difficult for them to do. You know, when I'm doing Zooms for THV even, it can sometimes be a little bit hectic. Just getting it all timed right and all your ingredients out and prepped and whatever. So, y'all are a little bit easier to work with. Because if I forget something, I just go to my cabinet and get it. I miss being in the studio with everybody, but we're all doing what we have to do, aren't we? What do you think about school starting back this fall? You know, I want our students in school. I want them learning. I'm a little bit hesitant, honestly. But whatever they decide to do, I'm going to support that, and I'm going to support those teachers as well. Probably the biggest support I can give them is to pray for them. All right, we have quite a bit of onion here, okay? We're going to put that into our vegetable mixture that we've got going over here. I have a bowl that has a lid with it, and so I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator and let it stay there until I get ready to finish my salad about a half an hour to an hour before we eat. The next thing is bell pepper. Here again, everybody has their own way of doing a bell pepper. I just like to slice off those edges. Some people take it and they do a real fancy cut around, you know, just kind of do it all the way around. Me, I just do it the best way I can. I'm going to get those ribs out of there and the seeds out of there. Okay. Get that membrane out of there. And again, I like to use different colors. If you don't have those, what you have is green bell peppers, then just use those. I'm going to slice this in thin slices. I switched to my little paring knife for this. I am a knife user. You never know what I'm going to pick up. Most of the time I will use the one that you just saw for chopping, but sometimes I like to switch to a smaller one. This is the one I would peel potatoes and that kind of stuff with. All right, so we have that. I'm going to line those up and then give those a coarse chop. They don't have to be finely diced because you want that bite to be in your salad. These peppers are a little past their prime, but they're still usable and they're still full of flavor, so I'm going to use them. Use what you have, you know. I was trying to think of some of the other things that you might want to add. You could even add, if you want a meat protein, you could put some in there. I don't ever do that because that's one of the things I like about this is that it is all vegetarian. And I'm not a practicing vegetarian, but I do like to have meals that, don't have animal protein in them occasionally. Okay, going to put that in there. We're getting quite a bit of stuff here, aren't we? And this is probably going to feed more than 2 people, but it's good to eat a little bit later on too. All right, so we're going to do our red one. And like I said, you have your own technique for slicing, cutting up those bell peppers. Whatever floats your boat, that's what you use. Okay. Get rid of that membrane. That membrane would be bitter. You don't want that in your salad. You don't want to cook with that. Okay. Going to slice it up again, just like we did with the yellow one. I haven't grown any bell peppers this year in my garden. I have such limited space. I have 4 nice size raised beds, but there's never enough room. You know, I'm going to grow those tomatoes. Don't have as many as I used to grow. At one time, I had 30-something varieties of tomatoes growing. I can't put that many in my garden now. So I'm always going to have Cherokee purples. I'm probably always going to have Kellogg breakfast tomatoes. I'm always going to have some form of a green tomato, maybe an Aunt Ruby's German green or some Cherokee green. I usually have a couple of different pear varieties going in. My yellow pears just kaput this year, and usually they take over the garden. I don't know what happened. They're just years like that, y'all. I grew one this year. It's called Debbie's Pink, and I don't think I have any available right now to show you. I used them last night when I was canning tomatoes. It's a paste type tomato, but it's got it's just the prettiest little pink color. I'll try to show you one at some point in time. I grow oh gosh, all kinds of tomatoes. Cherokee purple always, because it is my absolute favorite. You know, it's an old Indian heritage heirloom tomato. Started growing them years ago. Always had to grow them from seeds because you couldn't have found a Cherokee purple plant in a nursery at that point in time. And pardon me, I don't know why I always start coughing when I'm cooking. I'm good and healthy. Okay, building up lots of veggies here, right? All right, so we have in here our cucumbers, our bell peppers, our squashes. Now we're going to add in our tomatoes. And you're going to want probably about 4 cups of tomatoes. And like I said, this is going to feed a bunch of people. Probably should have cut in half for just us. All right, so whatever variety of tomato you want to start with, and these have all been washed, I'm going to core them. I leave the peeling on. Some people don't like that. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I prefer to leave it on because I don't like to lose all those vitamins. All right, we're going to take the tomatoes and we're just going to cut those up into small cubes. Don't have to be exact. Now, I'm not measuring the tomatoes, but it's about 4 cups, so I can kind of eyeball that. However many you want to go in there. And you want good, ripe tomatoes. I don't make this with grocery store tomatoes, honestly. I either use my tomatoes or I go to the farmer's market and get them. And that's another reason why I generally only make this in the summer, because I want those fresh tomatoes. Okay, here's a Kellogg breakfast tomato. Beautiful, big, bright yellow-orange tomato. And it tastes so good. Get rid of these things. What do you call those things? Those little, you know, ridge indentions there. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what I was going to say. I have seen recipes where people put okra in here. I don't know. Y'all be the judge of that. I would probably, if I had some leftover fried okra, I might garnish the salad with it. But I don't see me putting okra in there. This is a classic Tuscan bread salad. So we'll start with that, and you can, you know, choose to add to it as you want to. Okay. I hope that you are finding time to spend time in the kitchen, and I especially hope that you're spending some time with your kiddos in the garden. I've mentioned to you before that my grandchildren really like to be in the kitchen and cook. I don't get to cook with them as much as I'd like, but I do like the fact that they're not afraid to be in the kitchen. My grandson has absolutely decided he can cook anything he wants to. I've forgotten what he made the other day that I was so impressed by. But anyway, he's not hesitant. He'll decide on his menu and he'll get in there and cook it up and then serve it. So right proud of him for doing that. I just don't want him to grow up so fast. Are we all like that? We want our grandchildren to say those sweet babies that crawl up in your lap all the time, that want you to read stories to them and snuggle up with them. He's really good to give me hugs and all that kind of stuff. My granddaughter is too. She's getting to be, 13. So you know what happens when they're 13. Their thoughts don't center on grandmother. They center on those friends and boys around. And that's the way you want it to be. Okay. All right. I think we've got plenty of tomatoes going here. Although I'm going to add one in that's green just to get that color in there. It's so pretty, isn't it? Big. Absolutely not a precision cutter on this. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. First time I started growing tomatoes that were green and I harvested them, my husband would say, "That's not right, that's not right." And I go, yeah it is. And you just have to learn to harvest green tomatoes more by the feel than anything. But I think that little green color in there just adds a whole lot of character. I thought I had a black brandy wine that I could put in here, but it wasn't quite right, so I decided not to harvest it this morning. Okay, so we finished chopping all of our vegetables in there. We've got that green tomato in there that we were chopping, and all those. I'm going to stir that up just a little bit, not too much, because I don't want it to get all bruised up. But what you're wanting is for those flavors to all blend together, and that's why you want to make it up ahead of time. And this is for our today's lunch, so it'll be ready. Okay, and I'll show you the finished product when I prep it or get it ready to plate up. We also, before we're going to do this, we're going to go ahead and add in some basil. Now, I'll add in a little. I'll finish off the salad by adding in quite a bit more. I want some in here to go ahead and start flavoring those vegetables, but basil is not a friend of cold, and I always find that it darkens up. So I'm stacking these up like I told you before, and going to roll them up, and then we're going to chop them in a chiffonade. That's little strips, okay? And it just makes it easier to cut if you do it that way. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. Spread that out there. I'll stir it up. Then I'm going to put a lid on it, let it sit in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll finish it up and plate it for you and let you see what it looks like. Again, if you haven't made it, go make that garlic infused olive oil so you can make those croutons be more flavorful, and have it ready to use in other dishes as we go along. I've been promising to make Tuscan bread salad and a Tuscan garlic sauce for you, and 2 of my favorite things to make. And so we're going to be doing those over the next few days. But thanks for being here, and I'll come back and show you the final plating. Thank you very much. Okay, so about a half an hour to an hour, and I think probably it's better for at least an hour before you plan to serve your panzanella. I want you to take it out of your refrigerator, add your dressing, and add your croutons. And at that point, you want to leave it out at room temperature. I'm going to show you how pretty it looks. We're going to be adding our other basil in at this point. Look at all those pretty colors. And this makes, like I said, this makes a huge salad. So this would easily serve 4 for a meal, probably 6 as a side. So there's plenty here. You can always cut it in half or even make more of it if you want. All right, so we're going to add in lots and lots and lots of fresh basil. You can easily find fresh basil at the grocery store in those plastic tubs, or even plants. So I'm just going to do that, just a rough chop throughout And when we serve it up, we want to serve it up on a really nice open bowl. I'm going to show you what I'm going to serve it in. This type of bowl really sets off the salad. So if you've got some wide bowl or even a plate, you don't want to serve it in a little bitty salad bowl because you really want all those colors and all to show up. So anyway, I hope you give this panzanella salad a try this summer while we've got all these wonderful fresh ingredients available. When you serve it up, after you've added all this extra basil in, and don't worry about it being precise, just get all of it in there, stir it in, and like I said, you're going to add this at the end because you don't want it to turn brown like basil's prone to do in the refrigerator. So anyway, we're going to let this sit out for a while, then we're going to serve it up, and we're going to top it with some grated Parmesan. This isn't the dry kind that you get in the little green can or whatever. You want either shaved Parmesan or freshly grated Parmesan. I happen to have some that was already grated available, but freshly grated from your refrigerator is really, really the best kind. You're going to sprinkle that all on there. You can do it individually, or you can go ahead and put it on the big salad if you want. Anyway, so first of all, you're going to make your garlic infused olive oil that you're going to use on those croutons that you're going to make up early. And then you're going to dish up this wonderful, wonderful panzanella salad, Tuscan bread salad. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you find some time this week to make it up for you and your family. I just think you really, really will enjoy all the fresh flavors that it imparts. Again, I'm going to ask you to pray for our world. Pray that God will take this virus away. And I'm a firm believer in wearing masks, guys, and if you don't, that's your prerogative, but I have 7 healthcare people in my family. They swear by them. I'm going to honor what they do, and I'm going to honor what they are asking me to do in terms of protecting myself and others. So have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and hope you come again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.